Welcome back to a brand new episode of the Tandem Talk Show. I'm your host, Coach G, and it's been such a long time since I recorded a last podcast, probably like 6 months. We've been signing up a lot of clients here at Tandem, building new teams, building new departments. And I'll be honest, podcasts have not been a priority until today, because today I have a very inspiring story that I want you to hear from one of my personal clients. Her name is Megan. Her story is absolutely incredible. And I've waited a long time to have Megan share her journey, what she's been through, because I really think that a lot of women can not only feel inspired by what she's done, but it can also relate to where she's been. And I'm excited for her to share what her success has been, but also what she's learned along the way. So without further ado, Megan, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Coach G. It's good to be here.
I'm so excited to chat
Mm,
with you today. And thank you again
yeah.
for jumping on our podcast as a guest. It's been a wonderful journey to work with you over the past few months and watching you succeed. And, for those who may not know you, which I know you're kind of new to the podcast, share with us maybe who you are, where you live, and how you found us here at
Y-
Tandem Nutrition.
Thank you again for having me on. So, Megan, I live in Greater Houston, Texas, and been in Texas for about 20 years, give or take. So, I'm a busy professional. I don't have kids, but I do have a pretty demanding job that lets me travel all over the United States. So, I was looking for a program that would support my lifestyle, that would help me build some sustainable nutrition habits and that could, support me particularly when with a job that, kind of had me going all over the country at different times. And sometimes when you travel a lot, it's hard to be on a diet. And so I came across your program, I think on a social media website. And, I reached out and you guys were super responsive and told me what your program is about. And to me, I really liked it because it was a dietitian backed program and very low pressure to join. It was you were just like kind of very matter of fact of like, hey, this is what our program can do. This is how we think we can help you. And it was pretty easy to sign up. So thank you.
Amazing. Yes. And I know that before you started the program too, that you had been dieting for quite some time on your own. Is that right?
Yeah. So I would say like nutrition and fitness has always kind of been a big part of my life but I had been a chronic dieter for 20, 25 years. I think I first started dieting in high school. And truthfully, it was a very yo-yo process for me. And my weight fluctuated 60 pounds, I think, over like two different times, like where I'd gained 60 pounds over a period of time, lost it, and then gained it back again, and then lost some, and was just kind of feeling really stuck. And I followed all the trendy diets, over the last 2 decades. So, I mean, if you name the diet, I have done it, from Weight Watchers to calorie restrictions to only fruits and vegetables to no carbs to all meats. I mean, you name the diet, I have probably done it or at least looked into it and strongly considered it. And as I kind of like look back on the history of the dieting, I would say like the consistent theme was a very restrictive mindset and mostly, not consuming enough calories. And so in those types of diets, it really depends, or you really have to have a lot of strong willpower. And as like a type A go-getter type person, like I could put forth the willpower for a period of time, but then, after a couple of weeks, I would have an opportunity to go spend time with my friends or vacation or holiday or something would come up and I would just completely overindulge because I was in such a restrictive mindset. And so that just led to a cycle of like constantly starting over, feeling frustrated, and ultimately just kind of gaining weight.
So, Megan, one thing that I really appreciate about you is like your openness to trying new things,
Yeah.
right? Because like sometimes after doing
Yeah.
exercises, routines for so long, we're almost like stuck in those routines for a long time. But that's one thing that stuck out to me about you is like once we introduced you to a new way of a different way of dieting and exercise, you took those on. And so I'm kind of curious, from all the different diets you tried in the past, maybe what were some beliefs that maybe were challenged or that you had back then about nutrition or fitness that changed as you went through our program?
Yeah. So I think like beliefs that I would have were like cut calories as low as possible, undereat. I thought carbs were like the enemy, like you don't want to ever eat carbs. I thought you had to spend 2 to 3 hours in the gym to see effective muscle building and muscle gains. And I think, the beliefs, those were kind of the beliefs I even brought into this program. And you and your team helped me learn that like under eating, it's always going to backfire. And sure, you can restrict calories and like maybe see a quick fix right away, but quick fixes don't lead to lasting results. They feel good for a week or two and yeah, maybe you can fit back into the pant but your favorite pair of jeans or whatever, but it's not sustainable to have like a quick fix. You need something that you can build on. Another thing that you guys taught me is just how important carbs are. Like, you need carbs for to have energy to do effective workouts. You need carbs just even for your brain to function properly. And there are times where you're gonna have you are gonna overindulge, or you are going to maybe have a stressful week and maybe have a slip up and have a bad meal, or maybe eat a little too much dessert or whatever, but not one mess up, one you know, moment that you might wanna take back that's not gonna derail all your progress. So that was a huge, belief shift for me. And then kinda going back to the gym where I thought you had to spend 2 to 3 hours a day at the gym. I mean, I was working out like 6 days a week, doing intense workouts. Like, in some cases, I remember I was go spin class for 45, 60 minutes, and then I was running on the treadmill for an hour following that. So doing that with like not eating carbs and, less than 1,000 calories a day, like I don't know how I had the energy to get through it. And so y'all taught me that you don't need to necessarily have like these crazy workouts in order to see muscle gains. So those are some beliefs that I had and how y'all have helped me shift.
And that's such a huge shift too, going from like
Yeah.
group type, high
Hmm.
intensity exercise classes, like 5 to 6 days a week
Hmm.
to and what do you what's a typical weekly workout routine like for you right now? Like, what are you doing now compared to before?
Yeah, great question. So in addition to doing every like weight loss program out there, I've probably done every type of workout routine from like just in my past, like Pilates to personal training to CrossFit to spin classes to Orange Theory F45 or hit style classes. And to be honest with you, like when it came to the program, I was doing hit style classes 6 days a week, and I loved it. I really did. There's something about showing up at this studio, and you're only gonna be there for roughly 45 minutes, and everything is laid out for you, and you just kinda do whatever the instructor says, and it's fun. You build connections and community there, and no 2 days are the same, and I mean, I loved it, and it was really hard for me to realize that even though I'd been doing that particular program for roughly 3.5 years, I wasn't really seeing muscle gains, and I was exhausted because I was doing so much cardio and also kinda some crazy moves like box jumps and burpees and, you know, d jumping up and down all over I mean, things that were fun, and it kept the classes entertaining, right? And it kept me coming back, but I wasn't, like, really seeing gains, and so when I started to realize, or you guys kinda started to help me realize that there might be more effective ways to lose weight and to build muscle, and specifically fat loss, just by going to a conventional gym and doing maybe 5 to 7 different movements over roughly 45 to 60 minutes, that I would probably see more gains there. It took me a little time to trust you with that, but I did, and it totally transformed my experience. And so I would say right now, on average, I go to the gym 4 to 5 times a week. Again, 45 to 60 minutes, and then I just make sure I hit my step count every day, which is pretty easy to do.
I love that. Like, complete transformation in your habits,
Mhm.
going from, like, the gym 5 to 6 days a week, doing hits, and lower calorie, lower carb, not really seeing a lot of progress, and then making that shift to, like, doing no cardio into, like, conventional weight training, eating
Yeah.
more carbs, and talk to us about was that's gotta be so hard to do, right? Going from that
Mhm.
shift of, like, working out so much, so often, and trying to lose body fat and saying, "Hey, listen, there's a better way that can help you lose fat faster." I mean, how hard was that for you to, like, trust that process? And at what point did you say to yourself, "Hey, this actually is better for me in relation to the goals that I have?"
That was so hard because I genuinely loved the group fitness. I loved going to the HIIT classes. I felt there's something powerful of like you show up, you're there 45 minutes or whatever time frame, and it's all set up for you, and you built friendships and connections with people there, and you sweat, you feel good. It's an endorphin high. But I think I was like looking at pictures of myself, and I had noticed that despite going to the gym 6 days a week and just feeling exhausted from the amount of working out I was doing, I just wasn't seeing the changes. And that's when you started to talk to me about like, "Hey, let's shift your workout routines." And I'm like, "No way, absolutely not." Like I put up the brakes with you big time. Like I was not on board with making the change. And you were very gracious and just like encouraging me to like, "Okay, you can kind of continue what you're doing, but have you considered trying something different?" And once I finally trusted you with that, probably I'd say roughly 4 or so months into the program, I was like, "What do I have to lose?" Right? And so I finally agreed to give up the group training and started going to the gym, a conventional gym. And I would say like 6 weeks in, I started to notice changes. I mean, it was pretty fast. And I just like, "Okay, I'm just gonna trust the process." And I'm so glad I did. And so you had to work really hard to convince me on that, but I did come around. So and
Well,
I won't go back now. It's so great. Mhm.
I love that. It's awesome. And so chat with us about the results you experienced throughout your program. What did you achieve throughout the metabolic reset system?
Yeah, I could talk your ear off on everything that I learned, but I'll try to summarize a few things. So I dropped roughly 15, 20 pounds and 2 pant sizes, I believe, as where I kind of finished up the program around. I went from having like a very restrictive mindset to I would say more of a strategic mindset when it comes to eating. And so instead of being like all or nothing, like your program taught me to like make space for life events. And so, you know, I used in the past, like, dread, like, vacations or holidays or, like, going to a wedding or a reunion or something because I wanted to, like, drop weight or I couldn't enjoy those events, but your program teaches you you can enjoy those events, particularly these events typically have food or some type of celebrations, or we use a lot of food in our culture just to celebrate, and that's awesome. And I'm a foodie. I love indulging in good things, but your program teaches you that you can still enjoy life events like that, and you can. You can go to them, enjoy it, eat the same foods as the people that are in attending them, and you don't have to necessarily be restrictive. You can go in with a game plan and again just enjoy the event. And the other thing that y'all taught me was consistency is always better than extremes. And so instead of doing like an extreme workout program or an extreme diet where I'm, again, not eating carbs or not, eating more than 1,000 calories a day, you guys taught me you can eat more including carbs, and lose weight or maintain your weight. And so it was just a totally huge, probably the biggest victory for me was the mindset shift, not necessarily just the number on the scale.
That is really cool. So when you say
Mhm,
mindset shift,
mhm,
I think I have an idea of what
mhm,
you're talking about.
mhm.
And maybe you just said it too, but could you clarify what you mean by that?
Yeah, like one example is I have to go to the gym for 2, 3 hours a day in order to see results. And I have to go 6 days a week. No, I can go 4 days a week, spend 45 to 60 minutes. That was a huge mindset shift for me. I used to think I can't go to a wedding, I can't go to a baby shower, I can't go to a birthday party, I can't go on vacation and like gain, have fun or enjoy the social experience. And you taught me I went on an awesome vacation last fall and I was gone roughly 2 weeks and I was so worried about like, am I gonna go there and be restricted and not enjoy the process or enjoy the fun? And we put a game plan together. We walked in, and I didn't gain a single pound from that trip, and I had a great time. I had great food, and I enjoyed it, and it was just great to, to have a plan. So, yeah, I think, like, to answer your question, like, the shifts have just been kinda going from extreme thinking to or being really restrictive to, like, just more of a strategic mindset.
So
And
what as
and
a Oh, go ahead, Megan.
Mhm. Yeah, and also too that, like, consistency is greater than perfectionism. I'm like I said, I'm a type A person, and I tend to struggle with being a perfectionist at times, or I'm a recovering perfectionist, and y you're gonna like, life happens, you're gonna have stressful days, you're gonna have days where your sweet tooth is a little bit on overdrive relative to other days, or you are going to want to enjoy your vacation or the life event that you want to go to, like the birthday or the wedding or the celebration, right? And you don't have to always be perfect. You don't have to be perfect. Just be consistent. Just show up and give it your best, and it's amazing the results that you'll get when you have that mindset shift.
One shift that I'm really proud of you for,
Okay.
Megan, is early on. This happens with everyone, is right? Fluctuations in weight are not always easy to see.
Hmm.
Especially when there's that
Yeah.
expectation to lose every single week and be on track, and one thing I'm really proud of you for, Megan, is just, like, when your weight fluctuates now, you know why it fluctuates, and you know that it's not body fat, and you also know that it's gonna go back down once things and, like, what people don't know about you too, like, you travel a lot. Like a lot. Like, you're flying, like, at least every couple of weeks, maybe every 3 weeks,
Mhm.
and you're always in the air, you're doing dining events with clients, and so there's a lot of things that was and is affecting your weight, but, like, despite that, you still stay consistent. You didn't let those emotions of, "Man, I'm gaining weight, I'm off track." You didn't let that affect your consistency.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for pointing that out. And it's so great to have a coach that helps you see in yourself what you don't always see. And yeah, that was a huge shift for me because I thought I was failing if the scale might fluctuate. But hormones and stress and sleep and water consumption and all sorts of things can just cause that scale to fluctuate. And as women, I think we tie a lot of our self-worth to whatever that number says on the scale, and that is so far from the truth and reality. It's a snapshot, and it's a data point that can
Mm.
help us and guide us in making decisions, but it's certainly not our self-worth. Mm.
Especially in your case too, because one thing you mentioned was, like, once you pulled away from the group training and did the workouts that
Mhm.
that that I gave you, that you were in a really unique spot, that since you never trained that way before, your body was gaining more muscle mass faster than it ever has before. So, like, your metabolic reset phase, so you lost 15 or 20 pounds, and then what's really cool is, like, you went through the metabolic reset phase, eating roughly 350 calories more per day, roughly, doing fewer steps, roughly maintain your weight within 3 pounds. And despite that, too, like, you, it was like, look at your progress photos. It was obvious that you've gained some muscle mass from that training. And despite that, too, because, like, people who are newer to these more specific and personalized workouts that are based around progressive overload, like, you're gonna be gaining muscle mass. So, like, you are fighting against 2 things, like, number 1, like, eating more food and, like, the water retention that can come from that, but also gaining muscle mass. So, like, you trust this process and being open to, like, "Hey, this is how it works." Again, not it's not easy to do, but you've come a long way, not only through your
Mhm.
own journey, but also through the mindset shifts that you've made as well. And so, like, looking back from what you've achieved over these past 6 or so months, and maybe what you did before this, if you could go back to maybe your 20-year-old self again and give her, like, 2 pieces of advice about dieting, about about dieting or fitness, what would they be?
Wow, that's a great question. Let's see. Slow is not failing. I think in this generation or like this day and age, right? We think extreme is effective, and that's not always the case. And if there's a program out there that feels like super restrictive or rigid or you feel terrible on, I've done those diets. Anything that is like extreme like that is not effective. Yes, it will feel slower doing something like your program, but it's sustainable, and sustainable is always greater than a dramatic result, right? The other thing I would say is you gotta fuel your body. You cannot undereat. I mean, I had particularly in my 20s, my diet was Starbucks and salads, and I was not I was not fueling my body. And so you have got to you gotta pay attention to your macros. You got to have the healthy fats, you got to have the carbs, you got to have the protein. And not only will you see results in your body with weight loss, but you're also just cognitively going to feel better, emotionally going to feel better because you're actually giving your body nutrition. And that's a it's just such a game changer. So I feel like I perform better at work, I sleep better, just so many other benefits outside of the number on the scale or how my clothes are fitting when you actually really give your body what it needs.
What great advice, Megan.
Yeah,
Thank you so
thank
much for
you.
sharing that.
Yeah.
And yeah, what you've
Mhm.
like learned or the mindset shifts you made, sometimes it takes decades to learn that. Or some people go throughout their life and may not ever like realize what you what you perceived through the steps you've taken to learn what you have. So really proud of you for that.
Well, thank you. I could have not have done this without you, so I really appreciate you and your team's support. It's been great. Mm.
Well, it's been amazing work with you, Megan, and we're not done yet. We're still going
Yeah,
through. We have 4 weeks of intuitive eating. So, for
thank you.
those listening, there are 4 phases of our metabolic reset system. Megan did a fat loss phase first. We took her through the metabolic reset phase next. The metabolic reset phase is the game changing phase. It's the phase where we re-increase calories, and Megan, you did that so well, and we lower steps, and our goal is to take you through maintenance next to reset your body set point and then to intuitive eating. So Megan's starting her intuitive eating phase either today or tomorrow, and that's a 4-week phase. But Megan, as we wrap things up, there's probably someone here listening today that's listening to the podcast and may be interested, maybe on the fence about, hey, can this work for me? Or, I've tried so many different things. I'm just not sure about this. And maybe they're not sure if they should like take that first step to reach out and to ask some questions. What advice would you give them?
Do it. You're so worth investing in yourself. I mean, I can't think of a greater investment than making a decision to improve your quality of life and improve your health, and you're worth it. I do respect it. It costs. I mean, there's a financial investment, there's a time investment, there's kind of redoing some of your thinking and like, strategizing, getting to the grocery store and, planning out meals. And I know there's many costs involved, not only with, again, financially, but, emotionally and with your time and other resources. And so, but but do it. You will not regret making this investment yourself. The other thing too is I think particularly as women, we're always like looking at our schedules and making sure everyone else is taken care of and whatnot. And there's never going to be a perfect time to get started. And I think we say things like, oh, I'll wait till after the vacation or after the my birthday or after the holidays or whatever, event you're gonna wait and get started then. But like start today. Like just do it. This program will help you prepare for those special occasions that are in your life, and you can you can lose weight while you're on vacation. You can lose weight during the Christmas season. You can do those things. And so just get started today. Or yeah, you won't regret it. And then the other thing too is there's so many programs out there. And if I could just I mean this is you have not asked me to say this, Coach G, but one thing like I've worked with many programs and dietitians and resources out there, and I honor everyone. But what I appreciate about your program is that it's led by you as a dietitian, and you have this medical training, and it's different. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that say, that they're a nutritionist or, they have all these credentials, and that's fabulous. I honor all types of people and their experiences and trainings and whatnot, but your program is scientifically backed. And that I think is truly the game changer. So, look for a program like yours that is truly going to have scientific data to support, the results.
Amazing. Thank you, Megan. It's very kind of you to say. And like all glory to God. I'm just very excited to be able to
Yeah.
impact a lot of to have an amazing team and amazing clients like you. So thank you so much for being on today.
Yeah, thanks for having me and let me share my journey. It's been a great
Yeah.
one. And again, I'm just so appreciative to you and your team for all the support.
Aw, our pleasure. And yeah, we're definitely grateful for you too. And if you are listening to this today and you felt inspired by, I mean, I feel very inspired now for sure after Megan's story, and you're interested in learning more about if our program could potentially be a good fit for you, reach out to me through Instagram at Tandem Nutrition. Drop me Megan as a message. Just let me know what you're referring to, and we can certainly chat more about kind of what that looks like to see if our program could be give a good fit for you. But that's it for today, everyone. Thank you so much and thank you, Megan, again for hopping on today. Really appreciate you.
Thank you. It's been great. Mhm.
Absolutely. And everyone else, thank you again for tuning in. And I appreciate your patience with the delay in these podcasts and looking forward to getting back into a regular cadence with these here pretty soon. So enjoy the rest of your day and we will chat with you again soon.